Slow-faced warriors. Hi, Kevin, Patrick, Zig. Everyone doing okay? Holiday shortened week. I talked to Blake today, and tomorrow's going to be our last day, unless something really crazy happens. Okay, so start getting your head into Thanksgiving. It should be every day. I wanted to start off with something to be thankful for. Look at all these great pattern and plays. Greg is up 3.5% on his Aussie short. Nick, who's going to be with us, well over 100 pips on this euro pound. Grega, who shifted to bearish a dollar, has a pattern in play here. And Blake just did something here with USD NOK. It's a short, it's a fib retracement. So grateful that I could see this stuff every day. Okay, also, anything else I want to look at? Okay, so all the different pairs. CFDs you could trade if you're overseas. You know, following bonds, some great bond calls. Oil calls by Nick and Grega. Grega was very constructive oil all the way up. So you can't say that there's nothing to trade even on a holiday shortened week. I don't know about you guys, it's not my favorite time to trade these holiday weeks. I tried it last night, Joe. Yeah, Blake was right. Well, Thanksgiving's not here anyway. Hi, Abdul, how are you? Look, I'm the first one to cathartically say I'm wrong a lot, but right enough. Hey, Luca, how are you? Everyone doing okay? Good. All right, so before I hand it over to Steve, I believe. Steve, are you next on deck? I do want to tip my hat again to Blake, who was short the end from the top. This wasn't even the top. Did all his covering in here. So flat, was looking for a rally to start layering into the short side again. I'm sure he's got at least some off. He talked about 12.5 yesterday. Do you guys wonder how I remember what everyone's doing in the market? You wonder? Well, I'll tell you how. You better not cry. You better not pout. You better not shout. I'm telling you why. Dale Claus is coming to town. I know where you put your stocks. I know if you've been wrong, but don't worry about it, 'cause you'll be in my song. Okay. Know Steve, if you're around, have Katerina come to your laptop or workstation. And I know everyone's enjoying the great stuff that Amanda's sharing in the chat room and kind of taking charge in there. Make sure that people have their manners and that they're great ideas. Yeah, Blake, I was just going to sing.
I know you were singing. That was fantastic.
No, I mean, I was going to sing happy birthday to Amanda.
Oh, yeah, you got to sing happy birthday to Amanda.
And Katerina, if Steve's here and she's around, but
well,
at least to
actually,
Amanda.
He's gonna be here in about 25 minutes. He's on a meeting, so I'm
okay. Well, this is for Amanda, the newest member of the team. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Amanda. Happy birthday to you. And Amanda, may this be your best year ever in all ways. Happy birthday. I hope it's a great year for you. Okay, Blake. I'm through with my vaudeville routine.
It's great. Just to answer your question, yeah, I'm already starting to short some dollar yen. I actually started shorting yesterday. My cost average is 112.42, so I'm under the water a little bit. But I mean, I'm not worried about it either. I can even add to it. I'm kind of prepping myself. One of the things that myself and other traders were observing today, as the market continues to rally, but the dollar yen isn't really rallying, and that's good news. I mean, I was looking for this. I drew this out yesterday. We would hit the 38% retracement and bounce back into this like sell zone, which we are in the sell zone right now. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had a piece going into this sell zone, and I've got it. So sorry.
Would you add to it up around 113?
If we can get close to like 112.80. Yeah, I would be. I'd be more than happy to add up there, especially equities. Like like I said, equities have been moving higher. You've got the Nikkei. Here's the Nikkei really quick. Here's the Nikkei. Making a move up. Yesterday I drew this out, and you can see my lines are right here. I drew it out that we're going to be making our way up here, and these are the prices.
Lower high.
Huh?
Lower high so far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not done with this bar yet, but I would assume that we're going to be done with this rally very soon. So when the Nikkei peters out a little bit, then it should take the yen lower. There also just to mention too, here's the 10-year treasuries. I mean, we're still I'm still looking at this as a possible, inverted head and shoulder pattern. You can look at it as some sort of, triangle, which it might end up being more of a triangle. Who knows? It still yields the same.
Digging its heels today.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it should stop, and it is stopping. So I'm not, I'm not really worried about it at all. Actually, sorry. Yawning a lot. I've been.
It's tiring putting up Christmas decorations.
Man, I'm pulling cactus out of my arm for the last. Seriously, I mean, I'm not joking. I've been yanking. I brushed up against one of my cactus out front, and
don't do that.
Jacked up my arm a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I've ran to Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, and which are all home improvement stores. All three of those within the last 24 hours. So and Costco on top of that. So I just I'm a little.
Yeah, we're all kids in adult bodies, like that.
The thing about the thing about putting up. I put up Christmas lights over the last couple of days, and whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it's a tradition that I follow, and we like to put up lights and get in the spirit. But last year, because we were in the midst of launching like ForexAnalytix or really like going full bore with ForexAnalytix, we had the, we were launching the. I was wrapping up my tenure with the Wise Trade Group, and between all of that, it was so busy last year that our kids they got gypped out of Christmas. We put up everything like 2 weeks before Christmas, and I felt so awful. It's like the Christmas just crept up on us so fast last year, and I'm like, this year is not going to be that situation. So I made a point of getting everything, or most everything up, and everything will be up by this weekend. And we have family coming over tonight too. We have a reunion with some second and third cousins that I don't see that often. So they're all coming to our house. So I wanted to get some things up and rolling. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the market, but it does play into why I'm a little tired. Hey, you mentioned something on Friday. We are not going to have a broadcast. So just so you guys know, we are not going to have a broadcast. However, in the event that we have some crazy outsized moves on Thanksgiving, which has happened, guys. I talked about it on the week ahead video this last weekend. Some of the wildest moves I've seen have been on Thanksgiving.
And is the ECB on Thursday?
No. On Thursday we have some PMIs out of Europe. And then we have the UK GDP, but that won't be. That's not why I would do a webinar. A webinar would be remember when Dubai they
defaulted.
They defaulted. Yeah, they defaulted on Thanksgiving, and we woke up Friday. The Dow was down like 200 points, which when the Dow's at 14 or 15,000 or whatever we were at that point in time, it was a pretty big decline. So if there's a situation like that, I would be I would just tweet out an impromptu webinar invite and get you guys all together, because more than likely, as much as I don't want to be, more than likely I will be awake. I don't want to be awake, but I might be kind of groggy and drag my butt out of bed just to see. But if I wake up and there's some moves have happened because of some massive volatility, I will get everybody together. But it's not something that I'm expecting, and I sure as heck don't want you to get out of bed and to do a webinar and it be completely slow. I mean that's not what I want to happen. So again, if something crazy happens, I will I'll make sure that I throw something out there.
Bases covered if there's any volatility, like usual.
Yeah, so like usual, correct. So I got some questions asked yesterday about the euro dollar, if I'm going to buy the euro dollar, and yesterday we were down testing the support zone, and I'm a little hesitant because of what's happening in Germany to buy the euro. So I wouldn't want to be short right now the euro dollar per se. I am still short the euro New Zealand. And I've been short that since Friday, so the euro New Zealand still continues to come off. But as far as the euro dollar, I'm not short that right now. And it sounds like I hear Nick. That might be Nick.
Yeah, Nick's gonna be with us.
Okay, cool. I think I heard her talking, but she probably doesn't know that her mic isn't muted. But that's okay. The pound's testing some key support. If we break through here, we're going to come back down to triangle support. The Aussie is finding support ahead of 75 cents, which I would be very hesitant about being short the Aussie right now. And I know Greg has got a nice pattern to play. Oh yeah, he's targeting 75, and I think 75 is doable. But you have to imagine he's also been short this thing for a couple of weeks. I just don't know if I'd initiate new shorts down here.
Close enough for government work.
Yeah, but I still think we could head down to 75 cents. The Kiwi is still floundering around, and this is the tightest range I've seen in the Kiwi in a while. I mean, we are not doing much.
And the first non-confirmations in both at new lows.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so you got to be a little careful. I don't know how excited I'd be about trying to short these commodity currencies at this point in time. Now, a lot of people have, and let's go back to the commodity currencies really quick. So a lot of traders are accustomed to when the stock market goes down. They're like, well, what about risk off if the stock market comes down? If the stock market comes down, is it going to weigh on commodity currencies? I'm not necessarily in that camp anymore. I don't know if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen, but I can see it not happening. One of the things that if you're dealing with like the Aussie and the Kiwi is that these currencies have been beaten down pretty good, but if inflationary pressures are on the rise, then we could have a situation where the Aussie and the Kiwi actually rally, or maybe the Norwegian krona or the Canadian currency, whatever, what have you. But I would trade the charts versus an idea when dealing with the commodity currencies, because I don't really know what to do with them. I did buy the US dollar Norwegian krona today. We had a very big reversal from the 618 retracement. I think Steve pointed this out yesterday. We had a flag pattern complete. You can see the flag pattern completed as well overnight. I personally have also established a short in the US dollar Norwegian krona, so I'm now looking for lower levels. The US dollar Swedish krona, this is not one that I am short, but notice we're hitting the 200-day moving average as well. The US dollar Mexican peso, I shorted it yesterday at 1901. I think I shorted it like right here. I was underwater for a little bit, and then I ended up making just a few pips. But I still think, and if you guys remember listening to the week ahead video, I think that the US dollar Mexican peso had a very bearish move at the end of last week, and that's why I think that you can look at the peso is a commodity currency, so it falls into that.
I'm such a big fan of your short trade in that Mexican Blake.
Oh, thanks. You know what? And good morning, Nick. And you know what? I shorted it yesterday, and I've already gotten in and gotten out. And like I said, I made a few pips. Nothing to write home about. From a timing perspective, it wasn't the best trade of my career, because I actually risked more than I ended up making. But I think ultimately the US dollar Mexican peso is coming down. And so I'm glad you're in agreement, because I'm not short right now. I wish I was, but I'm not at the moment. But I think that could be a really a decent setup. So hey Nick, so how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Anyway.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's good to have you here.
About the peso and what a great trade it is. Do you know that Mexican wages are 30% cheaper than in China? And wow. They don't have to ship stuff across the ocean.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I've been to both regions, plenty, and I'll tell you what. The middle class in China probably looks a lot better shape than the middle class in Mexico at this point, and Mexico, especially some parts of it are really, I think it's a very undervalued country, and I think that they export a lot of goods, and one of the reasons why so many electronics and automobiles are so inexpensive here in the United States is because of Mexican labor. But what I guess the also point I'm want to make regarding your comments are there is room for a rise there, and I think the peso has been beat up to a point where it's a value play at this stage in the game, and I think that as long as NAFTA agreements don't go completely wrong, I think the Mexican peso could be a currency that could be bought aggressively too. And I'm not long the peso. I'm actually I'm actually just flat it right now. But hey, so what's up with Bitcoin? We hit that. I was semi-joking but not really joking. We hit the 261% extension of the September move. We're at this really extended level. There's a story about $30 million seas in Bitcoin, and it kind of freaked the market out a little bit. But I mean, here we are right back up at these highs. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to let off anytime soon. What do you think about that?
No, I think I really just don't see the risk reward of being long Bitcoin here. I think that some of the other cryptocurrencies have much better risk reward. I particularly like Ethereum or Litecoin, and yeah, like I'd like most corrections are 3 waves. We've only had one down and one up. I still see room for one more down. So,
well,
and I think that most of the volume is on Bitfinex, which is a slightly different. So they've made in Bitfinex a slightly higher high, but I think that's just a flat correction. And yeah, I completely agree with you. And if look at how sharply it fell off compared to struggle we've had to rally back. So yeah, I definitely think that there's room for more correction here, and a few things are happening out there that are making people a little bit twitchy and nervous. So one of the coins that supports Bitcoin trading, called Tether, US dollar Tether, was hacked this week, 30 million stolen. And so it kind of makes people a little bit nervous. These are all the factors. And what's interesting normally is if Bitcoin has a pullback, a lot of the other alternate coins will rally. People will move their money into different coins. But
yeah, it's like the stock market. You're getting crypto.
Just like FX. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like the stock market. You're like, okay, I'm going to take money out of healthcare stocks, and I'm going to put them into energy stocks, and out of energy into technology, and out of technology into, so you're getting that rotation. It's not like everybody's leaving the crypto space, right?
Right. Except that when China banned ICOs and then they banned Bitcoins, everything sold, like all of them together. So I'm a little bit cautious, like if there's more to this story, because when Mt. Gox went down, everybody said, oh, there weren't enough Bitcoins to cover Mt. Gox's liabilities, and then Mt. Gox went, oops, look, we were hacked, and then it came down. Then it put Bitcoin into a bear market for 2 years. That was the start of wave 2. So
can we take a look at some of your charts and what you might be seeing with Bitcoin? Because I'm curious to see.
I'm not seeing anything more than your coin, but yeah, definitely. Okay. I'll put mine up, and I'll put my Bitfinex chart up, because we'll take a look. But I just think we've exceeded the level, but we haven't in other exchanges. So let me just share my screen.
Okay, I'll let you know what I see. Because I'm. When you get to these outsized moves, when they're so explosive, it's really hard, especially when you're not a wave guy like myself. It's hard to see, where a good reversal point might be.
Right. So we were looking at your Bitstamp chart, which I like because it has more price history than Bitfinex. But I'm looking at Bitfinex because it has the highest volume, but they're also the one that says everybody pumps the price. So we've made this is a daily chart of Bitfinex. We've made a new high above last week's high, and we've pulled back and retested last month's high. So potentially we could go higher, but if we're going to do a flat correction, then this 113 Fibonacci extension at 8224 or maybe 8579 are where we would do it, and where we would squeeze past and then come back. So I am with you. This is if we stop here today, will be a hanging man candle. That's probably the worst bearish reversal candle there is.
Right, I agree. Most unreliable, right?
Right, exactly. But I'm going to go back to my weekly chart. If I look at the weekly chart and I look at the fib extensions from the lows in Bitcoin, every one of these fib extensions, we've banged our head on it and then come back and found support at the previous one. So we did it at the 1.618, the 2.618, we came back and did it, the 4.236, we came back to the 2.638. Here we are at the 6.854. Really, we only had one swing lower and we didn't quite come back far enough for me. So maybe I'm being a bit fussy, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a squeeze and we come back. And then if we use these fib extension numbers, then we can say, well, once we complete this correction, then although we've got a small fib projection at 10,000, well, 9,890, 12,500 should be the next big swing target after this is complete. It's just, I'm a little bit nervous. Is this correction complete? When I look at it, in relation to the other sizes, yeah, it could be complete. I'm just like not 100% certain.
Yeah, it is such a tough call at these levels. It really is. So what are you seeing in what are some of the other coins that you're looking at?
So the other big one that we cover at ForexAnalytix, everybody covers, is Ethereum. So Ethereum is quite interesting for me because we've been in this big triangle. I'm just going to tidy up my chart for you. Get rid of some of these.
You're right. So we're at the triangle highs.
So we're at the triangle highs, and we're also if this is if this is a modified ABC, so if this is, we measure from, sorry, let's try this again. If we measure from this low to this high and project it from this low, we're at the 61.8. And again, if we measure from this low here that we've just done to this high and measure from here, we're at the 61.8. So a double 61.8 here. And so this could just be an ABC correction rally. And we could now see, if we go lower here, for me, a big swing lower, not just a small one. And we could go all the way back to the bottom of the wedge, because this is a modified ABC and this is a modified ABC. So it's not just a trend line here, what I'm trying to say. It's also a lot of fib confluence, and it's the 78.6 from this high to low. Reversals at the 78.6 come back to the 38.2. That would be all the way back to 243. That's a huge drop in Ethereum. So do I think that will come back that far? Probably not, but potentially there's still the potential, and until we clear this zone, there's still the potential that we see one more leg lower in Ethereum. So
do you trade cryptos on the short side too?
No, I don't tend to. I tend to just buy something else, and I don't trade them with leverage either.
Right.
So yeah, like I'm not like a lot of exchanges do, and they offer margin, and you can short them. I don't tend to. I'll either usually take my money out or go to something else. So.
Okay. Yeah. I know that a lot of brokers allow you to. I think it's a little scary. Yeah, it is.
Okay,
so it's not just me.
And I also I'll sell them to get out of positions, and I'm quite religious every night about whatever I've got moving my stops up, because some crazy moves can happen at night. And the rally, that massive rally I had in Bitcoin Cash, that went all the way up and came all the way down while I was asleep, because I hadn't left any orders to get out.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
That was quite like, oh my gosh, what did I miss?
So I notice in an FX you're focused on the euro pound, and the euro pound had a nice. I hate to switch it over to FX really quick, but the euro pound had a nice reversal from the 50% retracement. I was watching it up there, and I'm kind of ticked off that I didn't try to pick it off myself. But the euro pound. I mean, it's come off pretty good.
It's come off pretty good, and I'm a little. I think that this leg lower we had here was just. This is a daily chart of the euro pound. I'll switch regular candles back on. I love those I've started to love Fibonacci candles. So I think this swing lower was just the first one, and we need at least another swing lower. So if we go 61.8 of this swing projected from here, we're going to come down to about 86.8686, and that would also in this small thing be an ABC just around here as well. So that's the bullish one. I think if we do a bigger ABC correction from this high to here, that potentially, sorry, I haven't got it.
No problem.
Then 84.80 potentially we could come down to.
Man, that would be that'd be one hell of a correction.
Yeah, but another German election would do that, especially if people think the alternative for Deutschland.
I know. Do you think that she could lose?
The thing is, it's not like it's so different to like our politics. Like they probably have many more political parties than we have, and so nobody's an outright winner. Like has 50% of the vote. Nobody. So will she probably still be the biggest party? Yeah, but if she's got nobody to coalition partner with, she can't govern. And if Alternative for Deutschland find anybody to partner with, they could, be very powerful. So, yeah.
That would be that in itself could take the euro a lot lower then, as a result.
I think just the uncertainty of it, is going to be. And I think it stops a lot of things happening. So, there's lots of talk that the ECB are going to start talking about tapering asset purchases and stuff. Well, they never do that if they think that there's global uncertainty about anything that could delay a lot of other things. So,
but I can't remember if it was Steve or Stelios, and Steve, I'm sure will be chiming in here very shortly. But I can't remember which one of them yesterday we're talking about that one of the thing about Merkel is she's been so good over the years at steering Europe out of the the financial crisis, and I think it is Stelios that was saying that yesterday, and that in itself has really enhanced her popularity over the years, and wonder if that if people feel any type of sense of uncertainty.
Very pragmatic. She seeks solutions. She is very pragmatic. So she's not a hothead or stubborn like a lot of the German politicians. So yeah, interesting times.
Yeah, they are. Well, anything else that you see on your radar?
No, I'm watching your dollar SEC. I'm watching very closely at that 200-day moving average, just like you. And it's really interesting how especially like it looks so strong this morning when we got up. I'm now looking at it back, and I was just saying to people this morning, it's very interesting how at two big 200-day moving averages. Let's go and have a look at it. How the market will go all the way through, because when we got up at the London Open this morning, we were up here, right, at the highs, and looked like we were the other side of it. And I said, it's really important that you watch how we close, because this is a big deal, 50% retracement of the 2017 highs to lows, as well as this 200-day moving average. And so 50% of the year highs to lows in combination with that is like huge wall of resistance. And so even though it looks like we're the other side of it, don't pile in and buy it. Like, wait and see how we close, because we could see quite a setback here.
Yeah, if we have like some sort of
the Norwegian, it's not quite at target yet. The Aussie's not quite at target yet. So maybe there are some oil moves to come. So
yeah, that Swedish krona. I mean, if we mark a good reversal candle, like a gravestone doji, something like that, or like right now it's a shooting star, but that could really be set up as a good reversal. And see, this is where I look at the euro dollar and it's like, okay, well, is the euro going to bounce? And I'm not so sure of that, but I guess it could end up being a euro move and not so much everything else. But if the euro got a bounce, a decent bounce, that'll play really well into being short the Norwegian krona, or the US dollar Norwegian krona, or the US dollar Swedish krona, which I'm short the US dollar Norwegian krona as of this morning. So
they might be better trades for people than the euro, that's for sure, with all the stuff going on.
Right, exactly, and that would be my thought as well. So so good. Well, thanks, Nick, for coming in today.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And Steve, is he here? I don't know if Steve is here.
I think he is.
Oh, Steve, you are here. I'm gonna.
Are we doing a webinar on Friday, even though it's Black Friday and everyone's shopping?
No. I told everybody this morning we're gonna have Friday off, and I usually
Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct. And I usually take Friday off, and I told everybody if something crazy happens, where remember a few years ago.
I've seen on Friday crazy stuff happens. If something happens, buzz me up. If something crazy happens in crypto, we can do it too.
Yeah, sounds good. And it's one of those like impromptu things. Like remember when Dubai defaulted? Oh, yeah. That happened Thanksgiving. I've traded on Thanksgiving Day. 2 Thanksgiving days that I can remember with $300 moves as I'm carving turkeys. So, but then again, I've been in Thanksgiving days where it's a 30 pip trading range too. So it's kind of like we might, if we get some volatility for a reason, then I'll call up a webinar really fast. So, but I want Dale to enjoy the long weekend and everybody else too, not feel like they have to be here. So but Steve, welcome back, man.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick, thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nick.
And Steve, what's happening, man? How's and wish your wife a happy birthday, please.
Thank you. I will.
Is she with you? Is she with you, Steve? Katerina?
She's actually in bed because she's still sick.
All right.
So
Well, play her. I sang happy birthday to her with Amanda. Play her the video later when she's speaking.
I will. I'm pretty sure she would have preferred to have different birthday, different kind of birthday, I mean, than being sick in bed. But you know, it is what it is.
Well, you know what? I heard a very interesting thing. I was taking my wife to the doctor, and this lady got out of the car and said, "How are you today, sir?" And I said, "Fine, I'm great. How are you?" She goes, "Glad to be here, still staring down at the grass," which is the view that you want to have. You don't want to be on the other side of it. So if we're staring down at the grass, it's a good day. What do you think?
Right. Always. Hey, guys, I'm going to get ready for my trading day. Steve, do you have it from here? You okay?
Oh,
Go kill him, Blake.
Go enjoy.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. Blake?
I missed you, so I need to get caught up so I know what to do.
Just a fast recap because I was in a meeting. What have you talked about? So I don't.
You know, we talked a little bit about the euro, a little bit about the dollar yen. I'm actually almost positive in my dollar yen shorts, and talked about the Norwegian krona.
Okay, and a little bit of short that as well. They used the. I had a perfect confluence. I was talking about it.
You were yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was looking at it since last week, so I think that's a great area to be short. Okay, I'm going to briefly show that. Anything else?
Nah, we talked a little bit about the cable, but not mostly euro, dollar, yen, and Bitcoin when Nick was here, and some euro pound.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to show the rest then. Perfect.
See you later,
good.
Guys.
And then we cracked the 3,000 mark in registered users to our webinar.
Oh. That's very, very nice. That's very nice. I'm sure it's just another milestone until the next one, right?
Oh yeah. It's like a mushroom, but
indeed it is. Okay, having a look at the cable, Blake just said that he talked about it. I'm sure that he just said that we are once again on a resistance. I really don't have anything to add on that. It's triangles resistance. It's also horizontal resistance zone. It's also the 50 DMA. So I would be very, very careful being long the cable here. Quite important level, quite important resistance, and quite an unimpressive move to the upside. I mean, doesn't look impulsive in any way, so just be careful, guys and gals. Nothing else to say about this. I'm sure Blake covered it anyhow. We are seeing some reversals today in commodity currencies. Of course, it's extremely early in the day to call anything, but regardless, let's first go to the USD NOK. I'm short this one. I was expecting since last week. I was hoping I'm going to get the opportunity to be short because we had a perfect confluence of the inverted head and shoulders formation and the target, I mean, of the inverted head and shoulders formation on the 61.8. They confluenced at 833. A few pips below 833 actually. We're also seeing some nice RSI divergence here. And in general, I'm positive the NOK as a currency. So I think this is a great opportunity. I got triggered short earlier today, and I'm going to be holding this position. I don't want to see the pair, go above this zone, the 840 zone. But as long as we stay below it, I'm feeling quite good with this trade. I'm really happy to get triggered. I was planning this trade for quite some time, and it's now active. Now, on the other hand, about the euro, the only thing I have to say about the euro is that I'm seeing and listening to all this Merkel talk and what's happening with Germany. Personally, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I do believe that Merkel, one way or another, even if they have to go through another round of elections, she's going to be re-elected. I don't think that there is any viable scenario that alternative party for Germany is going to actually form a government after a fresh round of elections. But that doesn't mean that in the short term that cannot and will not affect further the euro. On the other hand, from a technical perspective, you know, we have the following two elements here. One of them is that the 118.50 zone, which, you know, has proven to be very important, has rejected price action once again. But on the other hand, the move lower has been unimpressive since, you know, since we rolled over. The head and shoulders scenario never played out, and, you know, the move higher has been stronger than we've had any moves to the downside manifest. So, you know, I'm looking at the 116.80 area as a possible buy zone, and I might actually be buying that. I actually had orders to buy the euro at 117.50 and 116.80. I pulled out the order at 117.50 because I wanted to see, you know, more clearly what's going to happen with the elections, etc. But I haven't pulled out the order to buy half a position at 116.80, and I'm probably going to be keeping it, by the way, for full disclosure. So that's what I think about the euro. Now, having to do with some of the commodity currencies, today we are seeing the attempt of a, you know, of a reversal candle, an outside white candle in the Aussie USD. My target has been 0.75. We didn't reach it, but, you know, we did get one leg lower that I expected after retesting the 77.40 area. So to be honest, you know, for perfection, I would like 75 to be tested, which also has a triple confluence here. It's the ascending trend line from there. It's the 78.6 from this move higher, and it's also a horizontal support area. But, you know, you can never, you know, believe that, you know, you will always get a perfect confluence of, you know, providing support or resistance or reversals. So to be honest, you know, even if we see a reversal from here, we went all the way down to 74.35 roughly. So I think that satisfies what I was expecting, and perhaps we can see a bigger correction from here. But, you know, for all that to happen, you know, we need to first see the day close with a reversal candle before we can even discuss, you know, any further rebounds. But, you know, I'm keeping an eye open. The Kiwi also posted a new low, so that also satisfies, you know, some minimum expectations. Ideally, I would have wanted to see, and I still want to see it move lower, perhaps towards the 161.8 of this move. So, you know, I remain bearish. We also have some RSI divergence here, by the way, if you notice. There it is. So ideally, I would want to see both of them move lower, but I do see some potential reversal signs. So, you know, I would caution a little bit, you know, people to be a little bit careful, and let's see how we close the day and we take it from there. Now, having to do with the USD yen tested, you know, an important support area. It rebounded, but as I said yesterday to the chat room, I'm really not convinced that, you know, this is something more than just, you know, a first reaction from the 112 zone. So as long as we remain below this resistance zone at 113, 113.20, I would definitely not turn positive. So, you know, another leg lower is quite likely. Okay, let's have a look at questions. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of things to talk about. Okay, USD CAD. Yeah, let's have a look at it. We already saw the USD NOK. Let's see about the USD CAD. Okay, USD CAD. The USD CAD is still riding this ascending trend line. As long as it does, you know, there is no real technical reason to be bearish. But on the other hand, with the recovery after this move lower, does not look strong. And, you know, at the very least, we might get like an ABC here. So although there is no technical damage done to the uptrend, I would be careful. I would be careful with USD CAD, because it looks likely that we might roll over and push at least once more to the downside, perhaps to test the 126 area or these highs here at 125.70. Okay, so at any sign that it's rolling over once again, I'm going to be, I'm going to be inclined to take it seriously. Okay, but I need to stress out once again that there is still no technical damage done to this recovery, right? So don't jump the gun. The USD NOK, for example, looks better today. I mean, its reversal looks better today. So I'm quite okay with being short the USD NOK instead of the USD CAD. Usually they move closely with each other. That's why I'm saying it. I mean, they're quite highly correlated. Okay. USD CLP. Oh, yeah, that's a Chilean peso. No, I'm not really monitoring it. I have to say I'm not. We've traded it in the past because, in the fund I'm with, because the guy there loves some exotic currencies, because they also have a very good carry. I can have a fast look for you if you want. This is some kind of a triangle, so you know what to watch for. And we went into this triangle, moving lower, right? So higher chances of a resumption lower, and we are seeing a rejection today from the triangle's resistance. So I would say that this is a quite nice trade for you since you're following it, because listen, sorry, wrong tool. Listen, risk reward is very well defined for you, right? And you have a triangle, so good luck with it. Also, the RSI, if you notice, the RSI is stalling at levels that you would want to see a bear market stall. I mean, below the 70 mark, right? So why not? Might resume lower, actually. Doesn't look bad. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Copper, sure. Let's have a look at the doc, copper. Okay, copper is making an attempt to break higher. This also goes well with the potential for some commodity currencies reversals. Okay, we were looking for the copper move to lower to be corrective. We were quite clear with that. Might have bottomed out there. And as always, we're having a channeled correction. We might be breaking soon out of this channel. I mean, currently we're trading above it, but this is a daily chart, and the daily candle is not done yet. Usually what you need as confirmation then is to have a higher high. So for example, to close higher than let's say this area, 312. Okay, and then I think that you have quite a good potential for a resumption to the upside for a new high. So I think copper is worth monitoring as well. I mean, it might be breaking out as we speak. Zach, thanks Blake for the question. The analysis nobody trades in. Seems personally stay away from it. I'm not sure which one he was referring to. BTC, that isn't all related. Yes. What Stel mentioned yesterday regarding German mentality. To make things work, I think still it's going to play out. I agree with you, Zach. I do think it's going to play out. I think Germans are going to be just fine. Yes, we will notify via our Twitter handle if we end up having a webinar. For a friend that's asking here, Hong Kong up 2%. Everything else, Asia in rally mode. Yeah, we're going to see at risk at the moment. Actually, hi Steve, can you cover the Nikkei? Yes, I will. I will cover the Nikkei, and we have more questions. Okay, let's start with the Nikkei and the risk, and then I see we have more questions. So let's go. First of all, the Nikkei, I had mentioned here on the webinar that I think it was Thursday, Friday, whatever it was, that I had a position to go short the Nikkei again at 22,600. So that got triggered, and as I mentioned yesterday, I had, let me recap first. I had, a full position from 23,000. I took off 1/3 of the position. Then I took one more third of the position near the lows. And then I had an entry to add another third to go back to 2/3 of my original position at 22,600. That got triggered. I took profits on that third of the position yesterday for roughly 300 handles, and now I only have 1/3 of my initial position, but I'm still viewing this potentially as an ABC. So I will be looking to increase again my position. I'm not sure when, though. In this case, I want to be, I made some very good trades with the Nikkei. It has already made my month. And there's no reason for me to give it back to the market. So I'm maintaining 1/3 of my initial position, from 23,000. I might be adding, I'm guessing somewhere at around 22,800, and then put the stop loss of, all the position just above the 23,000 mark. That's my initial thoughts, but I want to see how price action is going to evolve. So bottom line, I think that Nikkei might recover a little bit further, but I would not be looking for this to be the end of the correction. I mean, that low to be the end of the correction yet. Okay, so that's what I think about the Nikkei. Now, having to do with the US stocks, I've said before that they look quite stronger than other indices. So both, first of all, the Dow Jones found support at this broken ascending channel. So, that's obviously a bullish reaction, but, not enough to convince us that, it's also done correcting lower, but definitely the US stocks look, a lot more buoyant. And the SPX is almost at the highs once again, but I have to say that in this case, we have this ascending channel still capping price action. So I remain skeptical for US stocks as well. I think that they will soon roll over. I still maintain positions. I reduced them when we dipped down to my cost roughly, using also the advantage of having great profits from the Nikkei. So I now have reduced positions in being short the Dow Jones and the S&P. I'm less than one full position short in combined the two of them. I'm 2/3 of a regular position short. But I have to admit that they still look stronger than other indices. And having to do with the IWM, I had mentioned plenty of times that the move lower looked corrective to me, and you can see the fashion in which we rebounded from the lows. I was always viewing this as a megaphone formation since the very first few days, and you can see that it took, let me see, it took 31 trading days for a 4% correction, okay, and in just 3.5 trading days, we're almost back at the highs. So, this to me is a confirmation that that move was corrective, this move is impulsive. Okay, of course, we haven't broken above the highs yet. So, yes, there is a potential that we're going to get another rejection from there. There is a potential, of course. Okay, but still, I have nothing still on this chart that tells me that this move lower is an impulsive move. Nothing. Okay, I insisted on that. I have a friend that's watching the show that had been bugging me on Twitter all the time with IWM that it has rolled over, it's bearish, etc., etc. I kept insisting every time that it's not yet, not confirmed. Okay, and I insist. So there is a potential to to see a rejection from where we currently are, more or less. But the fashion of the rebound, would make me very, very skeptical about that. Now, having to do with the DAX has been very nice and technical because it was the first one that rolled over. And, I had mentioned the importance of this horizontal support area multiple times, and we tested it twice. And as it seems, both times we're getting a very nice reaction from it. Am I convinced that we don't have another leg lower? Because that's what I had drawn out, that perhaps we test this area, we make an initial rebound, and then we push lower for one leg lower. No, I'm not. I mean, this is still a very good scenario that, we're gonna find some resistance in the 50s or 61.8 of this move lower, and then roll over and go lower once again. So, that's quite a possible scenario. But I have to say once again that, we held the first critical support area we found, and, technically speaking, although this was quite a nice reversal, there is no damage done to the trend yet. So people in general should be, quite careful with all these indices. Okay, let's see more questions. Gold. Okay, thank you. Good reminder for me to show silver and gold, and why sometimes you have to monitor very closely correlated markets. Okay, having to do with silver, this is what I had on my charts until last week. Okay, this triangle that I'm showing here. So, in theory, we got a breakout on Friday, right? Yes and no, because if you're also monitoring gold, this is a triangle I had on gold, and I haven't touched it since, which did not break higher. So when you see two markets doing the same thing and being highly correlated with each other, and one of them breaking out on a Friday and the other one not following suit, you know that you probably should not take that risk. Okay, and that is why after getting rejected on Monday and gold never have followed, I just redrew my triangle to this. Okay, and this is how sometimes monitoring correlated markets can help you, give you early signals about something, or help you avoid, rushing into a trade that won't end up working out. Martin says, hi Steve, Chile political election over the weekend was not in market positive perspective. That could hurt CLP, at least in the short term, so could benefit USD, CLP longs. Thank you for the macro background, but still the Chilean peso has a very beautiful triangle there that regardless of what happened with the elections, it hasn't still broken to the upside. So, the price incorporates whatever the market cares about, Martin. So as it seems, the result of the political elections obviously was not that worrying for the market yet to trigger, a technical event on that market. So regardless of what happened, I wouldn't be jumping the gun being long the USD Chilean peso unless it breaks the triangle that we saw. But thank you for the for the macro background stuff. Euro yen, sure. Do we have a guest today, Dale? Because I have quite many questions still. Dale? Okay, I'm sure Dale's going to be back soon. Nothing to say about the euro yen. Multiple attempts to break. We've talked about this range so many times.
Yes, right? I heard you, Steve. Yes, we did.
Okay. Let me know when he or her is ready. Okay, because I still have questions.
They're in the room. Sergio Camara is in the room.
Okay. So I'm going to cover very fast those two things, and you can start. Okay, euro yen still in a range, very well defined. Many attempts to break to the downside, hasn't done that yet, because what I care about, and this is another example, is how the day closes. Because if I didn't care about that, I would have been triggered short the euro yen like 5 times already. Okay, So still trading heavy, still quite likely it's going to break to the downside, which is going to trigger, you know, at least a push to the support zone, but still no confirmation. Okay. Euro Aussie, very fast. Found the 161.8. Quite likely it's going to give us some little correction before higher, but still looks bullish. There's no question about it. Okay. Sorry, I have to go very fast with a couple of pairs so they can start, and we can see them in detail tomorrow if you want. Then pound yen, not much to see here. Possibly a triangle as well. Support zone that was the breakout zone is still holding. So although it looks heavy, no confirmation of a breakdown. Okay, so we be very, very careful here. And the pound Aussie, I expected possibly, you know, a resistance from there. It hasn't done so. It has broken quite important trend line, but be careful because we're coming up at the highs. So in essence, it's bullish with some asterisks because, you know, we have a potential of an ascending wedge. We have a high close by. I'm looking at the pound Kiwi as a much better and cleaner opportunity. Okay, from a technical perspective as well. And the CAD yen, and we're done, so they can start the interview. The CAD yen has broken below this trend line, and it looks to me like it's bear flagging now. So I have to say that the CAD yen does not look very healthy at the moment. So that's it. Thank you, Dale. See you tomorrow.
Steve. Okay. Sergio, welcome to FACE. I'm going to make you the presenter. Looking forward to hearing your voice and having you share your screen with us. FACE, welcome Sergio Camara.
Hello.
Hi Sergio, nice to meet you.
Nice to be here.
I really appreciate you taking time out of a very slow day.
No, I really appreciate people here waiting for me to hear me. What can I say?
Yeah, so you're going to do great, and I noticed your handle has DiNapoli in it.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's your methodology. That
No, not at all. No.
Not at all. Okay, so wrong assumption. That's what assumptions are. So you know, we assume in the market sometimes too. So why don't you tell us about how it began for you, how you ended up in the industry as a trader? Did you have mentors, books? What influenced you? Kind of tell us what it was for you breaking into a pretty difficult endeavor.
Yes, well, everything started around 1994. Around that year when I was in university, a couple of friends were here in TV and radio about the news, the stocks going up, going down. So we decided to put some money on the stocks in Spain. And that's where I started. Normally, I started with trading cheap stocks, like penny stocks, because we thought they were going to have much more potential.
Right.
But time tells you that's a big mistake, because something that's low probably is going to go lower. So
your first foray into the markets was you learned the word, the definition of dilution.
Yes, totally. At the beginning,
because
you always have
I'm glad you brought it up, because you know there are some home run balls and penny stocks, but to our viewers, having, you know, I've worn many hats in my career. Investor relations was one of them, and you have to realize when you buy a small public company, just like the Fed, their stock is their currency. And if they need to hire somebody, they give them paper. If they need to promote the stock, they give them paper. If they need to, so there's always secondary, tertiary, always more paper on the market to fight through. So buyer beware on that. Okay, so we know how that turned out. What happened after penny stocks?
No, after all, you start learning that what you can read on internet, on webs, on forums. You don't have to believe in what people say. So to become
Yes. So
yeah,
you also learn discernment is another word to be
yes,
able
because
to
you
discern
learn to
between
know
the
the
height.
interest of the other person, what's talking, his time frame, how much capital they have. So the only way to stay on the markets is to learn by yourself. It's going to take you years, decades, whatever. But at the end, you can realize how things are or how the market is moving by
So
thinking yourself.
so how many years did it take you to make a breakthrough into being a profitable trader?
Oh, how many years?
Yeah, you started in
I-
'94.
No, I say about 10 years, more or less.
10. Okay. It
Yeah,
could take
because-
that long.
Yeah, because there was time I couldn't, there was 3 or 4 years I couldn't follow much the markets.
Right.
After all, you keep studying new methodology, like in my case was Elliott wave, and you
Okay.
keep learning, practicing the things you learned before, the things you try to learn how they work. So everything takes a lot of time.
Yes.
People
Okay.
think that
Well,
they're going to get to the market and be profit in a couple of years. And that's total
yeah,
error.
you're a warrior. You know, a lot of people are not able to persevere after that amount of time. So kudos to you on being able to, you know, be a rider in the storm and come out the other side, Sergio. So, all right. So you gravitated towards Elliott. You had, did you read Prechter's book or Glenn Neely?
Yeah, I read Prechter. I read a lot of blogs. I made internet courses with Jody Samuels, Todd Gordon. I also
Reka Horvath.
yeah, of course. I follow him on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But at the end, you can get the methodology, but after you have to make it yourself, like you have to understand it much more than the simple methodology could be. You have to assume how that methodology can work with you and how the time frame is going to be better for you to trade.
Okay. Well, I see we're looking at a daily on the Euro USD here. So
Yes.
do you go to longer term time frames besides daily to have biases and counts and then drill down in time? Or
Yeah, that's very
Go ahead.
important. Yeah, you have to start in the longer term. In this
Monthly?
case, monthly.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
the count, but at the end, you have to get the longer term count, and after go to the weekly or to the daily or to the 4 hours until you find a trigger that makes your analysis go to the market and trade.
Okay. So it's one thing. Go ahead.
No, it's a long process. It's not only going to the monthly chart, because in the monthly chart, we could assume that in a big, how you say, in a big channel. Let's see, I open this thing. In a big descending channel, you can see around here.
Yes.
But
Nice.
for me, to trade, I don't need. I need that the bias is down right now in the monthly chart. But at the end, I have to go to the weekly and to the daily chart to trade. Let's take out this chart. In the monthly chart, for example, for me, one of the methodologies that helped me quite a lot is using the moving averages.
Okay, interesting.
Moving averages help me to know that the trend is down or up just in an instant. I watch the screen here.
Right.
In the monthly chart, we see that we are above the monthly moving average. So
What are what moving averages? The gray line, and you also have it looks like 2 gray lines and 1 blue line.
The gray lines are the more important. Normally I use
And what are they? 200 day?
No, 169.
How did you come up with that? Is that a fib number for you?
That's a fib number. I learned it from a course, and the important thing is I make those those moving average, they are the 169 high and the 169 low. So it makes a channel.
Oh, okay. So the two gray moving averages are actually a channel.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's
So
the blue one there?
I think the book, let's see, 200.
Okay. So that's what you want to know what everyone else is watching too.
Exactly.
So 200.
200, we all know is very important, especially in the daily charts.
Okay. So interesting in Elliotition using moving averages. That's kind of a twist that I normally don't see. Most of them trade naked. So I also see you're using something called an awesome oscillator.
Yeah, that is
kind of similar to a MACD.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And is that your trigger?
No,
or
the
a
trigger.
guide?
That's the guide. The trigger is always price.
Okay, beautiful.
The price,
Okay.
and in this case, for example, let's go to a 4-hour chart. Let's see, 4-hour chart. We see that in the, let's see, we can see. That's my idea is we are in the descending channel. So if we are in the descending channel, the price is, I have to be in a low bias. But when the moment, it was on Friday, or when they went up, the descending channel, the top border.
As soon as it squeezed, everyone who thought that was a Head and Shoulders top, the picture changed, right?
Right.
Once we got, remember everyone was saying Head and Shoulders, and it ended up being a 4 down there for you. Okay,
so for me, from that point, I have to be a buyer.
Yeah.
Because it's above the 4-hour moving average, is above the upper border of the trend line of the technique. So everything I have to be thinking, and also there's a 5 move in the C wave. So
okay, so let me ask you a question though. So you have a bullish bias here. I assume you're using this pullback to look for long positions. So I also see your invalidation point at 115.54-ish. Is that where your stop is, under the low of C and 4?
Yes.
If you buy it here. So you have to give it like a couple of average trading ranges. What kind of leverage would you use risking that amount of pips?
No, that important thing is I trade the 4-hour chart to get me the confirmation, but at the end I trade in lower time frames, so I can get more better price, better risk reward ratio.
Okay, so let's imagine we're all flat euro right now. Yeah. And you're my mentor, okay? And I'm saying, Sergio, I see your wave count. How do you suggest I position myself, and what would be my risk? What kind of entry should I be looking for to participate in the upside in euro? How would you mentor me?
Okay, now we are in a 4-hour chart. Okay. We can see there's make an entry here above the channel and the same candle above the upper border trend line. Okay. So now we are going down. This is the key moment. We have to decide how much and what is the could be the support zone for the trade. Now we go to 1-hour chart. Our chart. Let's see if we can get a little bit clear around here. In the 1-hour chart, we see also there's a descending channel. Yes. We also see there could be an ABC, a flat, a zigzag. It's not important the name. It's important how the structure is moving from up to down, channeling, and after moving up. Okay, so it's there's nothing impulsive about this decline. It overlaps. Exactly. It's choppy. It's correcting its overbought condition more in time than price. Exactly. That's why I have a lot of here. You put Fibonacci support zone because there I have a lot of confluence in this area because there is the 38 and the 23.6.
Okay,
And you can see
Right.
of the all the upper move. So
right.
that's a support zone. This is a resistance zone. So here, let's see, put it a little bit bigger.
So you talk about, so we have some zones in mind, and you talk
Yes.
about price action is really the key.
Yes.
It's the arbiter. So would you wait for some of these fib numbers for entries and then see what kind of reaction you get off it? Like, would you look for a
Exactly.
reversal candle?
Exactly. You always have to wait for a reversal. Always have to wait until the market tells you that the turn is moving up. Of course, sometimes the market is going to make a fake, and you're
Yeah.
going to, your stop loss is going to be triggered. But
Right.
for me, in this case, I have to realize that this is the area to buy. Am I going to buy in this area? No, because I never know if the price is going down or even down. For me,
Right.
this is the area to buy. But at the end, I have to wait the price to move higher. In this case, for example, we can wait the price to move up higher than B. In this case, 170.65. Around this
Okay.
area, we could be thinking that the price is moving up.
Interesting. Okay.
It moves
So that's something that Elliot doesn't teach you. That's something you teach yourself. So
Yeah.
you would rather be late and give up the first 150 pips on a trade and have confirmation that it's becoming directional with a breakout.
Yeah. When I do that, I'm much more profitable. But sometimes one of my errors still is to try to be too anxious. I will be thinking of buying in this area or even in this area, but that's a mistake I have to keep telling and teaching myself not to do, because that's an error. Although I know I can think price is going down and it could stop in this area, I should have to wait to see the prices moving above B.
Right.
And
Okay.
above B, if we trigger also the upper trend line.
It's hard to do when you have confidence in account.
Yeah.
You want to have the edge. You don't want to be chasing a rally, so you try and probe something in an area that may or may not hold. It takes a lot of self-control.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's much more important psychology that even the learning of how to trade or how to learn a methodology.
Okay. So do you have another currency pair you'd like to share with Base today?
Yeah, sure. For example, the EuroCAD.
Okay.
The EuroCAD in this 1 week, I think let's go to mainly let's see. Here is my Elliott weight count. It's not, for me, it's not as important the Elliott weight count as the confirmation of the price, because at the end people could think a 3 is here, or a 3 is here, or a 3 is here, whatever. But at the end, I have to trade when prices are moving higher or when prices are moving lower.
Okay. So it looks like you won't get long until, would you use a buy stop to enter a trade, put a buy stop in above the market and put in an order, buy, one lot at 52.85 stop. You use buy stops to enter and sell stops to enter trades.
Yeah, this is my general idea in 1 week. After I go to the daily chart. Let's see, daily chart. One of the things I have learned that they are quite important, for me at least, and I'm looking very much, is, for example, try to follow always when the pivot point monthly is going to be. Because most of the time, there are resistance and support areas. And about around 75, 80% of the months, each pair touch his pivot point.
Okay. So what do the green and magenta boxes represent? Are they fib levels or pivot points or what?
Yeah, they are pivot levels.
Okay.
But the important one is the black one.
You're looking left for those.
Yes. Let's see. For example, this is the daily chart. You can see prices here make a higher, more than here. So we have the idea that the prices are going up. The moving average are up in 1 day. Let's see the 4-hour chart. In the 4-hour chart, moving average is also up. The 200 is also up. So I have to be thinking this pair to be a buyer.
Okay. Are you going to, and you have to, and you'll buy it on strength, or would
Exactly.
you? And you have to avoid the temptation to buy a pullback to your moving averages.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to know that moving average, they also act as how you say, dynamic support area or dynamic resistance area.
I like that, dynamic. That means that you get rejections from those areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Good price movement from
you can see in this area have been resistance here, have been resistance here. And you can see this area. You can see not only you have to follow one idea, you have to get for me at least a confluence of ideas. And when I like that. And when I get a trade, I decide that this pair, for example, I think is going up. I use the moving average as one of my confirmations if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Okay.
And so help me to establish the right stop area.
Okay. So I went to your website, nice website. I'm sorry, I'm like most ugly Americans. I only know English, but it looks like if you'd like to show it, that why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? And looks like you have webinars and a trading room.
Yeah. They have a record, and I have a blog in this website. When I normally talk about the Spanish index, IBEX, gold, S&P, and EUR/USD. Try to talk in general ideas to the non-professional public, know where to establish how the market can go in the following weeks or following week.
Okay, so you have both a blog and a website.
No, that's a blog. I have a blog.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it took me to a website where you had.
No, this the count I have of the Spanish index.
Okay.
And is the main index I follow because I think that for Spanish people it will be more helpful them to see how the index is going to do. And
looks like you're bullish IBEX here, huh?
Yeah.
When was this post made?
This post on Sunday. I normally do it every Sunday.
Okay.
Every Sunday, and I've been following the IBEX, for example. Let's see, this was my account in 2012. As you can see.
Okay, and you think we're in a bull market till 2022?
Yeah, and after
and that includes well, it looks like we might have a interruption of the trend at the beginning of next year. Are you looking for?
Absolutely. I think that the trend is going to change soon, but you never know how things crazy can go in the upside or in the downside.
Right. But so you're looking for some risk off starting when? No, 2018, beginning of 2018?
2018, 2019, but at the end, for example, let's see the S&P. If I see the S&P, I could see the count going higher and higher and higher. I don't care how higher it can be. But important thing for me, you cannot be short in the S&P right now because the prices are moving up. I could be thinking in that the trend is going to change. Let's see weekly. Let's see the awesome oscillator. There is a divergence here. Okay, I could be thinking, oh, this is going to be the end. I don't know if it's going to be the end. The prices are moving up, so my perspective, my follow-through have to be bullish. Until when? Until we have a clear change of the trend. And
Okay.
that's not going to happen the next month or in 3 months' time. It's going to take much more time.
Okay. Until 2022 or before then?
Ooh, I will say before that.
Okay.
I will
All
say
right.
before
Well, okay, because I saw your IBEX chart. I know some other Ellioticians that make calls like for 2,700 by year end, and then a 30% correction, you know, back to 2,100 into the spring.
Yeah, it could get higher and higher. We never know. It's like prices are going down.
It's like a rubber band, right? You never know how far you can stretch it.
For me, one of the things that help me are the moving average. If the moving average are going up, I don't have to think anything more. Prices are going up.
Nice.
After, I could use the moving average as an area, as you can see here, to get in a bullish setup or in an hour chart. As you can see, from September, all the prices in the S&P have been above the 4-hour moving average.
Yeah.
Here, the prices have been in the 4-hour moving average, have been as a support area.
Okay.
So I cannot be thinking in making short trades until the 4-hour moving average, for example, goes lower, and also the steep goes lower.
Okay.
So until then,
well,
I have to be thinking.
Thanks for sharing multiple views with us on the world bourses. Sergio, it was really nice meeting you, and I encourage people to follow you. Do you have any kind of business model for people to consider subscribing, or this just
no,
your
I'm
free
just
blog?
a normal personal trader for myself.
Okay, beautiful.
I like to trade. I like to analyze. I have been 22 years doing this, learning more techniques, learning how to control myself, be more conscious of the trades I do. I just love trading. I must say, I love analyzing and watching charts. Doesn't matter if it's gold, silver, USD, or Bitcoin.
I think you love trading more than you love money.
No, we all love money because after we do the money,
but you wouldn't do it. You're not just doing it for the money. You love it.
No, I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to.
You won't have to worry about. No one has to worry about early dementia because this is a constant brain teaser every day, isn't it, Sergio? So
yes.
we do work our minds every day, and it's great to meet you. No axe to grind. You could follow Sergio at Napoli75 on Twitter, and I wish you and your family and yours a great holiday season, a happy New Year, Sergio, and may pips rain down on you and everyone you share your work with.
Thank you very much. A great pleasure to be with you, to talk to all the English people you have, and to you, all your family and friends. A really happy Thanksgiving, because I know that you in the US you celebrate, and it's very important for all of you.
Thank you so much, Sergio. You're now my trading warrior brother, like it or not.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you very much, and keep doing this great job you do with FaZe.
Thank you so much, Sergio, and thank you, FaZe, and thank you, Nick and Steve and Blake, for all the analysis. We'll see you tomorrow for the end of the week. Thanksgiving Day tomorrow for us. We'll celebrate it. And remember, most of all, don't just count your pips. Be thankful for your blessings. And I'll see everyone tomorrow. Okay? Good hunting the rest of the day. See everyone in the chat room. You're welcome, Alina. Glad you enjoyed. Okay, see you, Barry.